Hey, what up guys, welcome back to my fish room. If you guys are new to the channel, I have a whole bunch of fish tanks and I make all kinds of videos on my fish tanks all the time. So please like and subscribe if you're interested in fish tank videos. Today's video is all about what it takes to run a fish room like this. And what I mean by that is the items it takes and kind of the money I spend every month on the fish room. So I have a little bit of item here and it might look overwhelming at first, but we're just going to go over each item kind of in a group, so it's not going to be that too bad. The first thing that I need to make very clear is this fish room is always a work in progress, so please don't comment hating on it. Everything's always changing in this fish room and nothing here is permanent. Anyways, let's move on to the video. So to start off, I think the most obvious thing is food, and a lot of people don't realize how much fish food you really need. So this right here is kind of just like some fish food that I go through in a couple months. Lots of flake food here in the fish room because I have a lot of community style fish that love flake food. So I have a lot of flake food here in the fish room and a lot of pellets for my cichlids and my knife fish slippy. I have a 75-gallon cichlid tank, and then I have a 40-gallon breeder here with a smaller clown knife in it. Definitely spend a lot of money every month on food for the fish room. So that's a big cost that people really don't think about, is food in the fish room. Next up, I think we should go over buckets, because in a fish room you can never have enough buckets. I have a big bucket here, I have another blue one, and then I have a pitcher here and I have another one. So I have two of each pretty much. And then I have just this little like sour cream cup. I like this because you can just dip it in and get some water out if you need. So that's pretty useful, and I usually just kind of stack it in here like so. Along with that, you have to have water conditioner. If you're like me and you don't have well water, you're going to be using Stress Coat, which all this does is removes chlorine from the water. They put all this extra stuff on the bottle, but really what we're looking for is removing chlorine. I've always trusted API and it's never done me wrong in the past. This is what I use every single day in the fish room when I'm doing water changes. I buy mine on chewy.com, and that's just because honestly it's cheaper on Chewy to get it delivered to my house than to go buy it at a real store. But you can also find this at pretty much every single pet store. API Stress Coat. And all you're doing is putting this in your house's water before you add it to your fish tank so that your fish don't die from the chlorine. I guess we should go over the siphon next. This is just for water changes. You use it to suck the water out and put it in the bucket. So that's pretty simple. Every fish room needs a hose to empty water out. And then I have a bunch of algae scrapers. So these just scrape algae off. I recently did a video on algae and algae scrapers, and I went over the magnetized one. If you guys don't know, there's magnetized algae scrapers where they just kind of sit in the tank like this, and this is on the outside, and you just move it around and it cleans all the algae. Go check out my video on that if you're interested. But yeah, you need a bunch of nets and algae scrapers, mainly just for moving fish and scraping algae. I like to have a couple nets mainly so I'm not always using the same net in each tank. This one's just personal. If you have a planted tank, I definitely recommend Easy Green. This is just fertilizer for your planted tank, and a lot of people don't know that you can fertilize your planted tank, and it really helps. But be careful, if you put too much, you will grow algae. But there's a fine line where you can help your plants and let them grow. So definitely in a fish room, you need this if you're trying to grow some plants. Filter floss kit. I like to get these. This is about $7. You can find this on Amazon, on Chewy, or you can find it at any local pet store. And this stuff is really good for cleaning your fish tanks. You put it in your filter. So it starts off in a big bag with this fluffy stuff inside, and you're going to rip it up and stuff it in your filter, and it looks like this after a couple of days. And then once it gets dirty, you can throw it out, or you can actually clean it and reuse it. Fan. A fan in your fish room is definitely really important if you want to avoid mold and stale air. You have to think about it. Even if you have lids on your aquariums, you're going to increase the humidity in that room. And I like to just have a fan in the corner of my fish room. No matter what fish room I'm at, no matter where I'm at, I'm gonna have a fan on high in the corner, just blowing air around the entire room. But yeah, that's pretty much my video on what it takes to run a fish room. If you guys like this kind of stuff, please let me know. I love making videos on my fish room and what it takes to run it. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace.